Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry for the incredibly late timing. We had some serious issues with OBS, so apologize about that, but we're definitely getting started here. So we'll go ahead and shout out our sponsor. This week's episode is again sponsored by TimelessGamer.net. TimelessGamer.net exists to inform and enlighten video game enthusiasts of all kinds. One of our favorite articles from this week is Asteroids was almost a totally different game. Can you check out their website for more articles like this? And we'll go ahead and get started.
Yes, and welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the fashionably late again. We just want to make sure that everyone in here, it was not me. No, I just want to let everyone know, just checking to see if everything sounds okay before we go ahead and jump into this. We have a very exciting podcast tonight, so I can't wait to get into it. Just want to make sure, I see tons of people in the chat already. Millennial Collector Ohio, Carl Peterson, Craig, we got everyone following along, so this is great. Just wanted to make sure.
Sweet. I think we're good.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Sweet.
So, all right, we have another special guest this week. So we'll just go ahead and introduce our guest here. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, and so my name is Craig from Outta Control Games, and I'm super pumped to be here, and a little intimidated because you guys had Mr. Rightway last week, and it's like I don't know if I can follow that up, honestly.
Oh, yeah. No, everybody's a good guest. I love everybody.
He's gonna have a blast,
Yeah, for sure.
So
I did say I'm a little on the quiet side, so I am correcting that. Actually, my level was above everybody, so I'm a little weirded out on why that's the case. But I'm going to go ahead and up everybody. So thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. I just threw my camera, so I think
I saw that. She just whacked it off the table. You look terrible.
I did. I was just like, boom.
You're not in 4K. Why aren't you working right?
All right, so here we go with all those technical issues. All right, so let's learn a little bit about you for the viewers. What is it that got you, into this content creation, and what is it specifically that you do in this whole community?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, it started probably whenever screwattack.com was a thing, and I'm an OG G1, like from the day, and I started making content back then, and then life happened, and then probably about 3 years ago, I was watching Retro Rick and the Pixel Game Squad, those guys, and I was like, you know what? I want to switch. We have a baby on the way, so and my wife and I were like, we have no money. So she's like, here's $10, make it happen. So we started a store, Outta Control Games, and then last year, right around Black Friday, Christmas, we were getting ready to sell our house, and we were using social media as like a way to promote the store. And I was like, you know what, this is fine, but I want to do more, and I want to be more educational and share not just like my feelings on stuff, but also be like, hey, Black Friday, here's stuff to look out for. Yes. And next thing we know, we were like, hey, this is like a great way to educate people on how to not just enjoy your hobby, but save money doing it. Yeah. And so that's really just kind of like what we've leaned hard into, like, because we sold 90% of our collection and inventory before to buy a house, which some people, my in-laws are still, they're like, you made how much selling video games? I'm like, yeah, like it's a thing, like it's doable. And now it took years to build up to that, but it's a thing. And so yeah, like we've just been focusing a lot recently. Like I posted a couple of hours ago, like, hey, Walmart is having a clearance event right now. Like every store is different, but I got these games for $10 each, or these games for $3 secret clear, like stuff like that. Just there's places you can pay to get that information, but I'd rather give that information out for free. Just be a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
No, we love stuff like that. We're always trying to save money. You know how it is when you want to collect and you want to get different things. Like money where you can.
Like, I'm old enough to remember the last recession, and I remember how hard it was then, trying to enjoy a hobby on a budget. And so it's like, if I can share that information of what I learned then, like, it's worth, if it helps somebody, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree.
Yeah, definitely. No, and one thing, too, is that, use the hobby to fund the hobby. too. That's something
Exactly.
I've always done. And I've had, some life events where I've had to sell my collection off. I'd had to have back-to-back surgeries one time. The daughter was born, and then we needed another place. Like, there's life events that just happen that come up, and
Exactly.
so stuff came up, and I use a hobby, fund the hobby, and then that hobby also helped me to, fund life. So
Yeah, and life happens, and the thing is, like, at the end of the day, we have to realize it's just stuff. We
Yeah.
can always get it back.
absolutely, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, where can people specifically find you?
So, I am horrible about promoting social media, but we are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all is Out of Control Games. And so, I couldn't tell you exactly, like, if it's like one Out of Control game, but I know if you just search Out of Control Games, you will find us, or you will find the original Out of Control board game. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. We're trying to do more and more and more, especially as we got some events coming up in our local area. So we're just excited to get harder into content creation.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes.
I saw
And we'll
you
go
got.
ahead and put all that in the description below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always following, what you're posting and see different stuff. I saw you got chickens. I saw
Yes.
you selling off a bunch of games, and you were talking about one of the series that you weren't. I think you said you weren't interested in anymore.
Yeah.
Previous video just here recently.
Yeah, like I posted, like, and that's the other thing too. Like I'm like a very outgoing, like I'm an introvert but an extrovert, like when it comes to media.
Yeah.
And so like and the other thing too is like I like having conversations about things that are happening that are real. Like it took me 160 hours to beat Persona 5 Royal and get the platinum. Like so it's like, hey, like this platinum is worth it if you're hardcore into this game. Pac-Man Repack on PS4 is not worth it if you have never mastered the original Pac-Man, because the last trophy is beat level 9 on the original arcade Pac-Man, and it is a disaster. Like, I'll get to level 4 and die. I was like, forget it, I'm selling this. It's not worth keeping.
What's funny about that is so this is kind of wild because, I've since the inception of the PS3, the trophy system has pretty much been there. I have never gotten a platinum. And so it's like, like years and years and years. I mean, I've been there since the trophy system started. Never got.
It's addicting. It really is, and like I'm fortunate I'm in a position where I can play video games where I work. Like, and I know that's very rare for a lot of people, but like ever since I got hooked on platinums, it's like I now buy games for my PS4 specifically if it's an obtainable platinum.
Yeah, I know people that were doing that as well.
Like,
it's like a rabbit hole, right? It's like a
it's like
you fall into.
I did this recently. Like, Dealfield Chronicle came out. I was like, I can get this on PS4 or Switch. This has a platinum. And so, like, I think, like, even Tactics Ogre, I was like, PS4, Switch, it's got a platinum. So it's like, I've been doing that a lot, and I'm kind of kicking myself for it. But, it's a mentality that I've developed, unfortunately.
It's wild. I've got, like, 700 trophies, but none of them are platinums.
Yeah, it
I
all
played
started.
A lot of games. I just never, like, do the extra. Like, if I beat a game, I beat the game and move on. There's, like, too many games, right?
Yeah,
that's the problem for me. So
it also doesn't help that I'm like the completionist, where I feel like I need to complete a game in order to. But also,
that's
like,
probably a good mindset to have. Maybe you'll buy less games, or you can just have more games stack up.
You say that until like you realize your backlog gets like ridiculously crazy, and it's all these platinums you think you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Or like they shut down the server, and you're not getting that anymore.
People rush out to get those when they announce that they're shutting down. My buddy just did that for a PS3 game. I want to say it was like, maybe it was Killzone Liberation or one of the Killzones. One of the servers is going down. Yeah, so he just platinumed that. He posted it in the lounge, and he's all about this platinums, man. And I'm kind of glad I didn't get in that rabbit hole, but I do have a really high gamer score on the Xbox. I've got like, I mean, I don't know how high that is now, but I've got like a 200,000 gamer score.
See, and like for me, like Xbox, like I appreciate Xbox, all it's done over the years, but like a gamer score didn't feel anything for me, like emotionally, but like seeing a trophy, and maybe it's because I
I'm
grew
the
up in
opposite. The trophies don't feel anything for me.
Yeah, or maybe it's because like I grew up competitive playing sports as a kid, and it's like, but I mean, different mindsets for different people, right?
Yeah, I like seeing the numbers rack up, but again, I didn't like chase stuff with that. Although there were like those, I would do this. There would be like in 360 days, there would be a lot of those like free limited time games that would like pop up. So do you remember like that Doritos game, and like there's all kinds of like wild sponsored like brand games that would pop up. So I'd grab those immediately. Oh, you remember the what about like Crash Course? You guys remember that one?
Yep.
Crash Course 1 and 2, so I like bought those just to get trophies or the gamer score. But I actually ended up liking those. Those games are kind of fun. Went back and played that Crash Course 2 not too long ago. It's kind of cool. So yeah, went on a tangent there for gamer score and trophies, but that's what we do on here.
No, but some people like it. I mean, it's not for everyone, but you know, some people, they really do appreciate that, and that's kind of where they like hone in at. So
yeah, and I will be the first to admit, like my gamer score or platinum list is nowhere near like some people I know, and so it's like mine's like minuscule, and they're like, "Why is it taking you 120 hours?" Like, well, I got a life, you know? But
or you're having fun with it, like enjoying different things.
Yeah.
You know, you want to enjoy the most out of your games.
Or
some
like
just power through them. It's like, do they really enjoy them?
That's what also takes me from trophies and gamer scores. I feel like I have to power through this and like not enjoying the experience. If I'm not enjoying it, why am I doing it?
Yeah, or you get a random RNG trophy like on Mega Man X5, the Legacy Collection 2. There's a trophy for triggering the like Enigma cannon and destroying the colony before it crashes Earth. Like if you know Mega Man X5, you know what I'm talking about. 100%. You can do it early. Well, it's a absolute BS trophy because it's less than 1% of the people that have played that game have popped that trophy.
What's an RNG trophy? What does that mean?
Random number generated. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you have to like hit certain events at certain times in order to make it happen, and it's almost impossible.
That's crazy.
Jeez, Carl is commenting. He said, so first of all, Mysticles, thanks for joining in. And then Carl said,
sorry, guys.
I have over...
I couldn't hear you for a second. No, for some reason I'm not seeing comments and I couldn't hear you for a second. Apologies. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just saw this one come in. Carl is saying, I have over 11,000 trophies with 320 platinums. It's a problem, haha, but my Xbox gamer score is low.
What?
I feel it.
11,
I feel it.
Is that like a normal number? 11,000?
That's high for a lot of people right now.
Suck at games.
Well, I mean, how many platinums was it again? Like
320 platinums.
So there's with the PS4, they made platinums easier to get. PS3, there was some stupid hard stuff like Uncharted and Last of Us infamously were difficult. But like, and then I know some people who went out and bought like the Lego games and the Barbie games and like the kids games because they're super easy platinums. And then with the PS4 generation, they actually changed it. A lot of those games don't have a platinum; it's just a gold trophy. Like Mega Man Collection, or the original Mega Man Collection 1 is just a regular gold trophy. And I'm like, well, I'm not even going to bother with that, right? Because it doesn't have a platinum. And so it kind of creates this sadistic mindset. It's like, is this game worth playing because it doesn't have a platinum? When the truth of the matter is, like, it's absolutely worth playing. It's just,
No, I mean, it happens sometimes. Some people like to play games for different reasons. Some people like to speed run them. Some people like platinum or trophies or whatever. Some people just like to have a good time and play multiplayer online. So everyone's a little different, and there's nothing wrong with that. So
absolutely, do what makes you happy.
Exactly, and that's what I love best about this community. We're all a little bit different, and we can do whatever we want. So. But no. So I guess another question that we have for you, what are you specifically going for, like, collection-wise?
So originally, before we sold the collection, I was like 20 away from the Wii U US release. I had Devil's Third, like I had the big hitters, but like was missing some of the like middle $40, $60 stuff, and like another 30 or 40 away from the full N64 set. And now, like we've sold it, I realized like, man, I don't miss this, but as much as I love getting platinums, I love the Switch. And so I have more Switch games than anything right now. And I think it's also because having kids and being a Nintendo fanboy growing up and then Sony kid in high school, Nintendo's always stuck with me. So now I'm going back and I'm trying to get physical copies of digital games I bought on PS3 and PS4, and working my way to doing that with Wii U and even retro, like what was it called, Virtual Console on Wii. Like, there's games I bought for $5, which, I mean, great deal. Like, if that's the way you can play it, that's the way you can play it. But like with the digital stores closing, I'm now going for those physical copies. Like, I just recently bought Tales of Symphonia for PS3, which ironically is the same game for PS4, but you get the sequel that never came out on PS4 and Switch. And actually, some people, even like, and myself included, will argue better on the PS3 version than it does Steam, PS4, and Switch. Like, don't know why, but stuff like that. And then there's stuff I bought digitally that came out as limited run stuff that I'm gonna have to save up some money for. So, like Knights of the Old Republic for Switch is over $100 right now, which is stupid. But I bought the game digitally, and still I have this mindset of like, crap, if that store goes down, I'm never gonna get to play it unless I play it on PC. But over the years I've become more physical with collecting, and right now it's like, okay, if it's coming out on Switch and it's like a retro, like Front Mission just came out in the UK. And of course, after I pre-order my UK copy, they're like, "It's coming in the US." I'm like, "Well, son of a."
So it's like, yeah.
Like, do I sell this and get the US copy? Like, so, and there's also like that weird mindset of like, it's an EU game. It still plays on my Switch, but the box art is gonna look a little.
I've got a game. So I have never replaced it. It's Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Anyway, I'll tell you, they sent her that text on the side of the spine.
Yeah.
Right? So I accidentally got a Peggy copy of that game, and I've just since said, "Just screw it." It bothers me all the time that text is centered on the spine. So like, I know inevitably I feel like I'm gonna have to because of my OCD. Because I legitimately have OCD with that stuff, and I'm like, I just can't justify it right now, but I definitely will. It's so low on the shelf right now that I can't see it that often. So.
Yeah, and the thing too is like my games, like they're spined out, so I will. Any common person is just gonna be like, "Oh, Front Mission first, like that's cool," but like, yes, like I bought Fire Emblem Engage through Walmart.com, which you would think I would have gotten a US copy.
Yeah,
I got an EU copy, and I'm like. So like I sent it back and got the US copy because it's like. But yeah, like lately a lot has been Switch releases. Like I already got Baten Kaitos pre-ordered from Japan in case it doesn't come out in the US. Because at the moment I think it's only going to be a digital release. They haven't announced a physical release. But mostly going back and getting those physical copies of digital games, especially with them closing the PSP store. There's some games we're never going to see again unless you pirate them or emulate them. And so it's like, I feel, and I know it's a dirty topic to some people, but, if my internet dies and goes out, or if there's like some apocalyptic event, I know I can still play my games without having internet.
Yeah, I think that's always the fear that people have, is that certain games are just going to like go away, or things aren't gonna necessarily be there.
Right.
It is it's a legitimate fear for a reason,
Yeah.
We've been given reason enough for that. Look at Scott Pilgrim, which like I was, we all were there for that. We're all old enough to have been there for that event, and it's like gone.
I have digitally too. Yeah, I have digitally on my PS3, and we're like, oh, we're bringing it back. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't feel like as like. Sad, but like TM and Turtles in Time reshelled. We're never gonna see that again. So if you get that on your Xbox 360, like that account is worth a little bit of money right now.
Yeah, and it really is too. It's the same thing. What's that horror game? That it was just a demo for the silent
PT.
PT. So those sell, like, if you've got that on the system,
Yep.
those sell for like stupid money. And it's
Yeah.
sad because like something like that would be really cool. That's the type of limited run or like limited release I want to see is for stuff like that we legitimately don't have access to.
Yeah.
Not bringing over and not to. I do want to say this. Not, and I meant to put this in the news. Not the doggone limited run at all, because I buy from the company, but I don't necessarily want to see a port of Alien Isolation over to the Switch. That is like a
Right.
game you can go buy right now at the store.
Yeah.
For $5.
Or
Yeah,
you pre-order like Shredder's Revenge, and then it hits store shelves before you actually get your pre-order.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I was at my Walmart. I'm like, I'm still waiting on this limited run. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I
Same
got
thing
the
happened to me.
collector's edition, like the big one, and I'm like, when's that gonna show up?
Yeah.
I'm
Or
waiting on
like
something from almost 2 years ago. I'm 2 months away
Yeah.
from 2 years on an item. So
that's part of the reason why I now do them as individual orders, because I pre-ordered Shredder's Revenge and Castlevania or Contra Collection, one of those two. And they weren't going to release Shredder's Revenge until the other one was ready to ship. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that again. Like, if you order from Limited Run, do them as individual orders, so that way you get your games faster.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
I definitely agree. It's extra cost, so you got to pay that extra shipping.
But how soon do you want it?
Yeah, how soon do you want it? Is it something you're you're opening up right away to play?
Yeah, I bought it digitally because I'm a Ninja Turtles fan, but
yeah, I did something. So I actually bought it physically twice, like an idiot.
Same here.
I saw it at Walmart.
I
bought it, and then I'm waiting on the limited run.
I got it. Yeah, I got it digitally for Switch, and then bought it physical for Switch, and then bought it physical for PS4 to do the trophy. So that just shows how sadistic I am.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sell that copy. Obviously, I really don't know why I did that. I thought it was gonna be like a limited release all around for some reason. I think with that one anyway. I did get that Cowabunga collection. I'm seeing that drop down. Like I bought it, and it was like kept showing up on Amazon and like all the storefronts again. I bought it at 80. I saw the collector's edition go up for 65 a couple of days ago. Like,
it's
and that was something people were like rushing and scalping for.
It's $40 in my Walmart right now for PS4, Switch, and PS5.
The collector's edition is
the standard edition.
Oh, I'm talking about the collector's edition.
Yeah, the collector's edition. That's a whole different beast. But
yeah, no, it keeps popping up, and I saw it go for 65 on Target the other day. Like, apparently, I don't know if it's more stock or like they just put it out in waves or gave it to retailers in waves or what the issue is. But now, like stuff like that is happening. The Dead Island 2 collector's edition. I just saw it pop up on Amazon again the other day, and it's $80 now, and it was being scalped. Just. What was it? That only came out like a month ago or something.
Well, it's like with PS5s and Xbox Series X's, not S's. I mean, like same problem. Like people were scalping them, and now I can go down to Walmart, Target, or whatever, and just buy one off the shelf.
Yeah, my Walmart has like 10 of them in there. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, it's a thing in the store because like I had never seen one in I had mine. I got mine 3 days after the launch, but I had never seen one, and when I saw one I was like, oh my god, there's one here, so I posted about it. A couple weeks later, now it's like bam, it's fully stocked every time I go in, so it's like I just walk right by, like it's not a thing now, which kind of amazes me, but that's the way it should be with console releases. So we shouldn't be fighting and arguing over a console release,
right?
That's how it always is, though.
Yeah,
them damn Wii's, let me tell you.
Oh gosh, that hits the feels like.
Yeah, no doubt. The Wii was still, I think, for me, the craziest one because I was a kid. So like I, really wanted the system. Like it was like a magical thing. And when I was the first one in my school, probably the first one in my town, honestly, because I live in the middle of nowhere. And like I brought the Wii Sports manual to school to like prove I had it because I couldn't like bring the system to school to like show off to my friends. So I just brought the manual, and the manual got left in my book bag for like 6 months. I never took the manual out. It just got all crumpled up, and kids, what are you gonna do?
Gotta love it.
Always.
So, What are your first gaming memories?
So vividly, like I remember my grandpa and I at my grandparents' house, like playing Duck Hunt. Like that's where I started, like on NES. I'm in my late 30s now. Duck Hunt and Donkey Kong, and that's what
Yeah.
got me started and hooked. And then probably like around that time, the Super Nintendo came out, and I remember just being like pumped, just being like, I want it. I was like 4 or 5, like I was a dumb kid, right? It was, or if, whatever year it was the same year Mario Paint came out, and I still remember like waking up Christmas morning and Santa brought a Super NES with Mario World and Mario Paint, and like I remember, like you talk about manuals, taking the manual to school because I was one of the first kids who got a Super Nintendo. And so people were like, wait, this thing's a real? Like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's Super Mario World. It's the sequel to Mario 3. And, like, of course, every kid lies about, like, what you do in the game, right?
Right.
And so, like, it was, like, I started out, like, retro, like, nowadays. But, like, that would probably be, like, some of my first that I vividly remember. And, we were talking about, like, saving, like, not spending a lot of money on games, playing what you have. And back in the 90s, like in video games would come out at 70 and everybody's freaking out about $70 games now. I'm like, the cartridges would go for 80, 90. Like I remember
Oh yeah.
over Toys R Us, the cage, like getting the little slip, going to the cage, like checking out, going to the cage, and like games being stupid expensive. And so like I would love to get the original Super Nintendo games I had as a kid again. Because like a lot of those games I poured hours and hours into.
Chrono Trigger was $90. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Chrono Trigger was $90.
Yeah,
A lot of
Earthbound was.
SquareSoft games they always
Yeah.
went over that $60 mark. It happens.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 2 was another one. When that came out, it was like $70-$80, which now
Yeah.
is like,
Well, and
10
Super,
20.
and somebody can correct me. I think Super FX Chips games were that high as well. Just because, like, it would make sense knowing what we know now.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Star Fox would have probably been one. I can't remember what Star Fox, but
Yeah, I know Yoshi's Island 2, or Yoshi's Island was most definitely one of those 70, 80, like when it first came out.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. People complaining now they have no idea because that's well over $100.
Yeah, and you paid that and you got your money's worth, or your parents bought it and you played the crap out of it
Yeah.
because you weren't getting anything else for like another 6 months.
You couldn't be picky or choosy. You didn't complain. You just accepted it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think it took me 3 years to beat Donkey Kong Country 2, but I made sure I beat Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, I want to tell this story sometime on the channel, but I'll just give like a little brief synopsis. My brother's coming back from Australia, so I might drag him in. I want to do some like memory style videos, but we got Scorpion King for GameCube, and I probably beat one of the worst games of all time. Probably beat that game like 12, 13 times, maybe more than that. I mean, we replayed the game over and over and over because we had like 3 or 4 GameCube games at the time, and the other ones, they were. What else do we have? Namco Museum was one of them. Just a couple of games that there was stuff on them, like a couple collections I played over and over a ton of times. So yeah, I beat that game so many times, and probably one of the worst games of all time. And I liked it then. I liked it, and I knew it was bad, but you dealt with it, and things were different then. So
Deal with what you have.
what are you gonna do? Go complain your mom? Hey, return this or fix the game? Like they don't want to take that. So
Well, and early on, I remember how much Funko Land and GameStop were a scam. Like, and ironically, I wish I would have started selling more when I was younger instead of waiting till I was older. Because it's a convenience factor. I get it. I'm not dogging them as companies, but like the amount of money I have thrown away on video games just to get one game that was horrible. It's like, if I could go back in a time machine and kick younger me in the pants, like I would totally do that.
yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. Being a gamer as a kid versus being a gamer now, it's like 2 entirely different experiences.
Well,
It's like 2 different lifetimes.
I remember being a nerd because I played video games as a kid.